Hey everyone! Tonight we're stepping through the marble corridors of ancient Rome. But not the version you learned about in history class. We're diving deep into the shadowy world where senators whispered secrets between silk sheets, where emperors hosted gatherings that would make modern tabloids blush, and where the line between political ambition and personal pleasure was thinner than a toga's fabric. So, before we begin this journey into Rome's most intimate chambers, take a moment to like this video if you're ready for some unfiltered ancient history, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. There's something fascinating about sharing these hidden stories with people from around the world. Now, settle in, maybe dim those lights, and let's uncover what really happened when the sun went down in the Eternal City. Picture this: you're standing outside a magnificent villa on the outskirts of Rome, somewhere around 50 BCE. The marble gleams in the torchlight, and you can hear the soft murmur of a conversation drifting through the columns. You've received an invitation, not because someone likes your personality, but because you have something they want: information, influence, or maybe just the right family name. This isn't your neighborhood barbecue. These are gatherings where the fate of provinces gets decided over wine, where trade agreements are negotiated in whispered conversations, and where tomorrow's consul might be chosen based on how charming they are after their third cup of honeyed wine. The guest list reads like a who's who of Roman society. That senator over there just passed legislation that will affect grain prices across the empire. The woman beside him owns shipping routes that connect Rome to Alexandria. And that priest in the corner, well, he decides which omens get reported to the public and which ones get quietly forgotten. Everyone here understands the rules of this particular game. Your clothing announces your status before you even speak. The quality of your toga's fabric, the gold threading in your belt, even the style of your sandals, all broadcast exactly where you stand in Rome's rigid social hierarchy. Overdress for your station and you'll be reminded of your place. Underdress and you'll be dismissed before the evening truly begins. But here's what makes these gatherings fascinating. Behind all the ceremony and protocol, real power is being exchanged. Alliances are formed not in the Senate House, but in private dining rooms. Military appointments get discussed while reclining on silk cushions. And sometimes, the person wielding the most influence isn't the one with the official title, but the one who knows exactly which secrets to keep and which ones to share. The Romans perfected the art of mixing business with pleasure, politics with entertainment. They understood that people make different decisions when they're relaxed, when their guard is down, when they're surrounded by luxury and comfort. A senator might refuse a proposal in the formal setting of the forum, but the same man might agree to it after an evening of fine wine, exquisite food, and carefully orchestrated conversation. These weren't just parties, they were strategic operations disguised as social events. Every guest was chosen deliberately, every conversation had layers of meaning. Even the entertainment served a purpose, setting the mood, demonstrating wealth, and creating the kind of atmosphere where normally cautious people might let their true intentions slip. And at the center of it all was an understanding that in Rome, personal relationships weren't separate from political ones. They were the same thing. Your dinner companions tonight might determine your career prospects tomorrow. The person you shared wine with could become your most valuable ally, or, if you weren't careful, your most dangerous enemy. This was Rome's secret weapon, not just its legions or its engineering, but its mastery of human nature itself. Now let's talk about what happened when the togas came off and the real negotiations began. Because in Rome, seduction wasn't just personal entertainment. It was statecraft with a bedroom. Take Julia, the daughter of Augustus himself. History remembers her as scandalous, exiled for adultery. But dig deeper and you'll find a woman who understood that her body was currency in Rome's political marketplace. Every affair was calculated. Every liaison served a purpose. She wasn't just rebelling against her father's moral reforms. She was conducting her own foreign policy, one intimate encounter at a time. The Romans had a term for this blend of politics and passion. They called it negotium, literally meaning business. And business, as they saw it, could be conducted anywhere. In the Senate, yes, but also in private chambers where senators' wives whispered state secrets to their lovers, where military commanders sealed alliances through strategic marriages, and where information flowed as freely as the wine. Consider Messalina, wife of Emperor Claudius. While her husband fumbled through speeches in the Forum, she was orchestrating a shadow government from her private quarters. She didn't just take lovers. She collected them like chess pieces, each one serving a specific function in her elaborate game of power. A general here, a senator there, a wealthy merchant to fund her schemes. Her bedroom became an unofficial cabinet meeting, where imperial policy was debated between silk sheets. But this wasn't just about the elite. Even ordinary Romans understood that pleasure and politics were intertwined. Tavern owners knew which customers were sleeping with which officials. Bathhouse attendants overheard conversations that could topple careers. Courtesans possessed intelligence networks that would make modern spies envious. Everyone was both player and pawn in Rome's intimate political theater. The genius of this system was its deniability. Official records would never mention that a crucial military decision was made during pillow talk, or that a trade agreement was negotiated through whispered promises in a moonlit garden. But everyone involved understood the real mechanics of power. Laws were written in marble, but Rome was actually governed by flesh and blood, desire and ambition, secrets shared in darkness. And perhaps that's what made Rome so enduringly powerful. They didn't pretend that human nature could be legislated away. Instead, they harnessed it, channeled it, turned it into another tool of empire. They built a civilization that acknowledged what others denied, that politics and pleasure aren't opposites but partners in the eternal dance of human ambition. So the next time you hear about Roman decadence, remember this. It wasn't weakness that drove their intimate gatherings. It was strategy. They understood something we've forgotten, that power flows not just through official channels, but through the hidden currents of human connection. In ancient Rome, the most important conversations happened when the sun went down and the real business of empire could finally begin. That's where we'll leave our journey tonight. In those shadowy spaces where marble met flesh, where empires were built one whispered secret at a time.